Believe it or not, some people use electricity, freezing temperatures, and vibrating platforms to try and build muscle. Now, I'm not saying any of these are actually effective at building muscle, but today we're going to go through the most unique ways that people actually try to build muscle and if they actually work or not. You won't believe the lengths that some people go to get that perfect physique. So stick around and we're going to go through the most bizarre and unconventional ways that people try to build muscle. So in this video, we're diving deep into the world of building muscle, but not in a traditional way you're thinking. We're going to be deep diving into some of the most unconventional and downright bizarre techniques that people use to try and build muscle. From electrical muscle stimulation to cryotherapy, we're pushing the boundaries of what you thought was possible in fitness. So if you're tired of the same old training techniques and you want something new and exciting, stick around because this video is for you. So let's talk about the traditional muscle building methods first. Lifting weights, proper nutrition, and consistent training have been the gold standard for decades. However, these methods are not without their limitations. Many people hit plateaus when they stop progressing, leading to frustration and just demotivation. Injuries are also very common in the modern way of training, often caused by overtraining or improper form. And then there's the time factor. Finding the time to fit in the length of gym sessions can be challenging for so many people. So based on these challenges, you can see that there's a much needed innovation in the fitness industry. So we need new methods to help us overcome these hurdles and achieve our fitness goals more efficiently and effectively. So that's where unconventional muscle building techniques come into play. They offer alternative ways to stimulate muscle growth, reduce injury risk, and potentially save time. But are they effective? And more importantly, are they safe? So let's try it. So I'm going to use timestamps for this video so you can hover across the timeline and jump to any unorthodox fitness technique that really piques your interest. Otherwise, stick around and watch the whole thing. Right, so let's jump into the first one. There's electrical muscle stimulation, or EMS. So how does it work? EMS uses electrical impulses to cause muscle contractions. These impulses are delivered through electrodes placed all around the body. So if you've ever had an ECG or you've been to hospital and you've had them little patches stuck to you, that is to measure electrical muscle stimulation. And the little patches that are attached to you are electrodes. So the electrical current mimics the action potential from the central nervous system, causing the muscles to contract. So a great example are them little six-pack vibrate-y things. So you must have seen them advertised somewhere where you stick it onto your abs and then it like pulses your abs. They do look a bit gimmicky, but yeah, that's a great example. So are there actually benefits to EMS? So research shows that EMS can enhance muscle strength and endurance. It's often used in physical therapy to aid rehabilitation. One particular study found that EMS can significantly increase muscle mass and strength in athletes. Obviously, you kind of have to read that study to understand if that's really reliable and if it's actually a valid source of information, but a study's found it, so we can sort of take it with a pinch of salt anyway. But the vast majority of studies do show that while EMS can be effective, it's not a substitute for traditional exercise. It should be used as a complementary tool rather than a primary training method, because overuse or incorrect use can lead to muscle fatigue or really bad skin irritation. Right, so jumping into the next one, we've got cryotherapy. And I feel like this one is a little bit more well-known than EMS. So cryotherapy usually works by exposing the body to extremely cold temperatures for a few minutes, usually in a cryotherapy chamber where temperatures can drop as low as minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The cold exposure is believed to reduce inflammation and pain by constricting blood vessels and reducing blood flow to the area. So what are the benefits? Proponents claim that cryotherapy can reduce muscle soreness, speed up recovery, and even boost muscle growth. A study in the International Journal of Sports Medicine found that cryotherapy can significantly reduce muscle soreness and even improve recovery times. But like all things, they have their drawbacks. So the extreme cold can obviously be really uncomfortable, but also there's limited research on the long-term benefits of cryotherapy for muscle building. It's also relatively expensive compared to other recovery methods, and improper use can lead to frostbite or other injuries. Right, so this next one is a bit of a joke, to be honest. It always seems to be used as a bit of a gimmick and just some fun, but, you know, it's worth speaking about anyway, just because it's quite interesting to talk about. So this is vibration platforms. So how does it work? Vibration platforms are devices that vibrate at high frequencies, obviously, and when you perform exercises on these platforms, the vibrations increase the force exerted on your muscles, potentially leading to greater muscle activation and growth. So what are the potential benefits? This can lead to increased muscle activation, improved strength, and enhanced flexibility. It's also said to improve circulation and reduce the time needed for workouts. And a study published in the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine found that vibration training can improve muscle strength and power. But obviously, like I said, things have their drawbacks, and the science in vibration platforms is still emerging, and not all studies agree on their effectiveness. And it's also important to use these platforms correctly to avoid injury, such as joint strain and muscle fatigue. So like I said, these don't really have much science-backed behind them in terms of their effectiveness, but obviously there are studies that have shown they can potentially improve muscle size and strength, but that may be because of other factors that weren't taken into account. So I think for this one, you should definitely take it with a pinch of salt, do plenty of research yourself, and maybe just do it if you find it interesting and fun. I suppose that's probably a way to take this one. If you're really serious about your training, I probably wouldn't think about this one. All right, so before we jump into the next one, it's crucial to understand that this next training technique should only be used if you're an experienced lifter, because it has some potential health risks that can be really adverse. So just bear that in mind. Right, so enough of the talking. Let's get on to this next one, which is blood flow restriction training or occlusion training. If you're a regular for this channel, you'll recognize this one, but I'll speak about that later. So BFR includes using cuffs or bands to restrict the blood flow to the muscles during exercise. So this creates a hypoxic environment that can stimulate muscle growth even with lighter weights. And the reduced blood flow causes the buildup of metabolites, which in turn stimulates muscle hypertrophy. So BFR can be highly effective for muscle growth and strength gains, especially for those recovering from injury or unable to lift heavy weights. Because when you use BFR, you're able to use lighter weights because the intensity is increased just because of the restriction of blood to the muscle you're working. So a study in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that BFR training can increase muscle size and strength comparable to traditional high-load training. So like I said, you have to be relatively experienced to be doing BFR training, because BFR must be done correctly to avoid complications such as nerve damage or blood clots, which are obviously very extreme things to have. And it's crucial to get proper training before attempting BFR. So if you want to learn more about BFR or occlusion training, click the card at the top right of the video. It'll take you straight to one of my recent videos that is all about occlusion training, how it works, if it's beneficial, and if you should actually use it for your training or not. Right, so leading on from speaking about how BFR can create a hypoxic environment, the next training technique is hypoxic training. So hypoxic training involves exercising in low oxygen environments, such as at high altitudes or using hypoxic masks. So this technique is believed to enhance muscle endurance and growth by forcing the body to adapt to less oxygen. So the reduced oxygen availability stimulates the production of red blood cells, enhancing oxygen delivery to the muscles. So some benefits are that athletes use hypoxic training to improve their cardiovascular and muscular endurance. And it can also stimulate the production of red blood cells, enhancing oxygen delivery to the muscles, as I said before. So a study in the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that hypoxic training can improve endurance performance and muscle oxygenation, which is essentially just how much oxygen can go into your muscle. So obviously there's some major drawbacks for this one, because training in low oxygen environments can be challenging and extremely uncomfortable, and it also requires specific equipment or locations, which can be a massive barrier for many people. And there's also a risk of altitude sickness or hypoxia if it's not done correctly. So you either have to have enough money to be able to fly or travel to these locations where there's low oxygen, or you have to have enough money to buy a hypoxia mask. Right, so among these techniques, one stands out as the most extreme and controversial: anabolic steroids. So anabolic steroids are a synthetic variation of the male sex hormone testosterone, and they promote muscle growth and improve athletic performance by increasing protein synthesis in the muscles. This can be done in numerous amount of ways, but it all depends what anabolic steroids you are taking and how they work. So users often see rapid muscle gains, increased strength, and improved recovery times, and this makes steroids appealing to bodybuilders and athletes looking for really quick results. But that does not mean you can just not train, take steroids, and put on significant amounts of muscle. It's just not going to work like that. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that anabolic steroids significantly increase muscle mass and strength in healthy male subjects. Despite their effectiveness, anabolic steroids come with significant health risks. These include liver damage, cardiovascular problems, hormonal imbalances, and psychological effects such as aggression and mood swings. And long-term use can lead to serious conditions like heart disease, infertility, and liver cancer. Additionally, the illegal nature of steroids also means the users risk legal consequences. So the American Journal of Public Health highlights the long-term health consequences and potential dependency associated with anabolic steroid use. So that means whilst people are using steroids, they may become very dependent on them to just get through life. But despite the risk, anabolic steroids remain popular among some fitness enthusiasts and athletes. So the promise of quick gains and enhanced performance is a powerful lure, and it's important to weigh the benefits against the potential health consequences. For many, the risks outweigh the rewards. So always prioritize your health and consult with a medical professional before considering such substances, because they are just extremely potent and you don't know how your body's going to react. And especially if you don't know much about steroids, you could just start taking them, have no clue what you're putting in your body, and it'll just really destroy your physical and mental health. So in this video, we have uncovered some really unconventional muscle building techniques, from electrical muscle stimulation and cryotherapy to vibration platforms, blood flow restriction, and hypoxic training. We've seen how these methods push the boundaries of traditional fitness. While each technique offers a unique benefit, they also come with their own set of risks and challenges. And of course, the most effective method, anabolic steroids, presents significant health risks despite its effectiveness. So obviously innovation within the fitness world is essential, but it's also crucial to approach new methods with caution and with thorough research. Always consult with professionals and consider your own health and fitness before trying something new. And remember, the journey to building muscle and improving fitness is personal and very unique to each individual. So think outside the box, but also prioritize your physical and mental well-being. So which of these unconventional fitness methods surprised you the most? Have you tried any of them, or are you curious to give one a shot? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and if you're new, hit the subscribe button. Shows me you're really interested in these videos, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified every time I post. As always, that's all from me, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.